Alright guys, let's go ahead and first off before I start, anybody technique-wise have any questions about anything that I didn't get covered to your satisfaction? Okay, I want to talk about quarter halves. Let me go back initially to about 1976, okay? I was coaching at the Southern Methodist University for Ron Meyer. We went and visited the University of Nebraska. And Monty Kiffin was the defensive coordinator of Nebraska, a guy now that's coaching with the Minnesota Vikings. They were playing weak eagle defense. And they were beginning to mess around with what has evolved into quarter halves. The next year, Monty Kiffin went to the University of Arkansas with Lou Holtz as the defensive coordinator, and I had a chance to go there as a secondary coach, and we really developed the quarter halves defense. And so what I'm going to tell you is how we played quarter halves and how it's evolved and the couple of different ways we played it and how we're doing it now, okay? Now what you got to understand, we are a reduction defense. We are going to be reduced on one side or the other, either on the weak side, which to us is the single receiver side, the split end side, or the tight end side. Now, our secondary is tied to our front. Our front is not tied to our secondary. If our front is moved to the two receivers, we've got to be in a weak rotation. If our front is moved to the one receiver, we got to be in a strong rotation. All right, now, let me just tell you how our huddle call would go. We would go in the huddle, and our Mike linebacker would say 53, cover 13. 53 tells our front how to line up. 53 tells our end to the Sam side to play a 5, and our end away from Sam to play a 3. It's the best way I've ever called fronts. Call the numbers, tell the ends where to line up. Okay? Our nose tackle knows that he shades to the call, to the Sam side. Okay? Our bandit knows that he's in a 5 away from the call. Now, how does Sam and Mike know where to go? It's simple. If we go in the huddle and we call a 50 or a 40, Sam and Mike go to the tight end side. Two tight ends, they go to the two receivers. Two split ends, they go to the two receivers. So we go in the huddle and we call 53, cover 13. They come out, it's a pro set. Sam says, Sam left. Sam knows he's in a 9. The end don't hit the call side, knows he's in a 5. The tackle knows he's shaded to the Sam side. Mike's playing what we call a 30 technique on the Sam side, and we're reduced on the bandit and the weak inside. Now, our coverage knows we call cover 13. The first number we call is the coverage we're going to play against every formation except twin and twin trips. So if they're in pro tight, any other formations except twin, and this is twin to us, that's twins, tight end back here, and that is twin trips. Any formation but those two formations, we're going to play cover 1. If they come up in those two formations, we're going to play cover 3. Now why? Because of our front. Sam threw this, go to the tight end. Two tight ends go to the two receivers. Two split ends go to the one receiver. Excuse me, the two receivers. So Sam would come out of the huddle, and what would he say right here? Sam right, right? The end would know he's in a 5. The nose would know he's shaded that way. The mic would be over here. Okay? All right? Now, the end would be in a 5. Excuse me, a 3. The bandit would be in a 5. The wheel would be here. Now, we've rotated our, we've moved our front weak, so how do we have to rotate our coverage? Strong. So now we're saying, we say check 3. We're playing cover 3. If they went in motion, what would we do? We'd say check 1, sky, or move him out. And usually we just say sky back there. Okay? Now, that's how the front works with the coverage. Let's talk about quarter halves. Strong corner. Strong corner being the corner on the two receiver side. You are playing man in my zone. You are playing man in my zone. What does that mean for the strong corner? It means corner, you line up 8 to 9 yards off of the receiver. You be inside or outside depending on the receiver's what? Split, right? Depending on his split. If there's a lot of room outside, be outside. If there's a lot of room inside, be inside. Now some people line that corner up inside all the time, saying that he's going to get help from the strong safety. He's going to get a double from the strong safety, which he is on most routes. But he isn't always getting a double from the strong safety. We can't always say that he's going to have inside help. So corner, you line up and play the split of the receiver. Okay, you're going to line up 9 yards deep. You're going to have your outside foot up. You're going to be in a good football position. You're going to be keying ball on and off the line for the three-step drop. You have no run support unless the wide receiver cracks. You have no run support unless the wide receiver cracks. Okay? You are playing man in my zone. That means I'm keying the quarterback for the three-step drop. So on the snap of the ball, what do? I walk out, right? I walk out. If it's three-step, then I get up and tackle the guy and force the ball back inside. If it's a slant, I attack it. If it's the out, I break on his outside shoulder and force the ball back inside. Any questions on the three-step drop? Now, when they run the three-step drop, what is the tight end going to do most of the time? What's he going to do most of the time? Block, right? Block. Now, if we want that corner to play aggressive and the tight end's going to block most of the time, what should we then do with the free safety? Play like halves, right? If we get the three-step drop and the tight end blocks, free safety's going over the top. Why not? There's nobody for him to stay in there and defend. So the corner, you go be aggressive, knowing if the guy runs a stop and go or the out and up, we're going to give you some help over the top to help protect you. That way you can be aggressive. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Now, corner, I walk through the three-step drop. That's 2 steps for me, right? Nothing happened. Now I am playing a man technique. My eyes are on his belt buckle. Keep your leverage. Keep your cushion. I am playing man on that receiver unless he runs shallow across. Shallow being under 10 yards. If he runs a short underneath route, then I'll let him go because he's running into a zone area, and I will zone up and just play like a quarters corner. He runs a post, I'm over his upfield shoulder. He runs an out, I'm going to attack it hard through his outside shoulder. And any questions on the corner? I am playing man. At times we'll bump that corner when we're playing cover 1. At times we will bump the corner. He is a man-to-man player unless that guy runs a shallow drag route. Now what I tell the corner is, your man, unless he runs a shallow drag, is about 10 yards. If you've got any questions about whether it's 7 yards or 8 yards or 10 yards, you cover him. If he runs a post, any kind of post, he's yours. Don't count on the safety helping you. You may get help, you may not. Okay. Any question then on the corner? All right, let's take the safety. Let's take the safety on the run to start with. Safety is going to line up, and he is going to give the outside backer a read call. All right? He's going to line up, and to the outside backer, to the Sam backer, he's going to line up 8 to 10 yards deep, depending on who we're playing, depending on the style of offense, depending on how much he's going to have to force contain. Usually we'll line him up about 10 yards deep, and he's walking out just like everybody else, okay? Now, he's going to give a read call. He lines up from 1 to 3 yards outside the tight end. From 1 to 3 yards. If the ball was on the hash mark and that was the wide side of the field, he would be 3 yards wide. If the ball was in the middle of the field, he would be 1 yard wide. Okay? Alright. He now is keying ball on or off the line of scrimmage and the tight end. Let's say he gets toss sweep. What's his job? What did we say this morning? His job is to fit off of who? The Sam backer. His job is to what we call fill where needed. Right? Which means you come up and break down 3 yards behind the Sam linebacker. If Sam is beating the hook block, where's the ball going to come? And I want to be able to fit back inside. If Sam has been hooked, I now am going to fit outside. We're going to always let the guys that are standing up, not with blockers on them, fit off of the guys that are getting blocked. Fill where needed. Does that make sense to you? All right. Now, let's say that we get going the other way. We got the corner. All right. Let's say that we get tight end blocks down. Okay. Let's say we get option first. Dive option. We have arc release and tight end first. Tight end arc releases. Who's got the pitch? Sam linebacker. What's the strong safety guy? He's got dump. He's got dump to the outside half of the quarterback. Now, either our end or linebacker has got the quarterback, depending on how they blocked it, okay? If they base blocked it, if the tackle blocked the end, then the end's got the quarterback. If they veer blocked it and the tackle blocked inside, the end closes and takes it out, and the linebacker scrapes and takes the quarterback. The ends, the outside backer's got the pitch. The safety has got dump to outside half of the quarterback. If the tight end tries to block him, he has got to get on the outside half of the quarterback. Usually we get a veer block when he arc releases. He closes and takes a dive. He scrapes for the quarterback. I've got to get to where that guy can't run that way and run away from the linebacker. All right, now, how do we coach the safety to know whether he's getting blocked or he's getting the dump pass? It's real easy. Look at the tight end. Tight end doesn't get to catch the ball many times, right? If he thinks he's going to catch it, as soon as he releases off the line, what's he going to do? He's going to look back for the ball. If that tight end comes off that ball, looking back for the football, you get ready to knock a snot bubble out his nose, right? If that tight end comes off that line looking at you, it's not the dump pass. What's he going to do? He's going to block you. You get up and get your hands on him and get outside of him and secure the outside where the quarterback can't run away from us. Okay? Everybody understand that? You're never going to be wrong, guys. I'm going to tell you. I don't care what they do in practice. Every tight end I've studied, the best ones in college, when they come off that football and they think they're going to get the ball, they're going to get that head around, but they don't want to get hit in the back of the head because they don't get it very often. Okay? All right, now, any questions there? All right.
Coach,
Sir.
on the arc release, can you go over that again with the strong safety kind of do? Does he has outside half the quarterback then?
He has to dump, the way we describe it, he has to dump to the outside half of the quarterback. Now, in reality, Coach, our end or linebacker has the quarterback, based on how they block it, based on the blocking scheme. Arc release, dive option. Based on how they block it inside, our end or linebacker has the quarterback. Sam has the pitch. The safety has got the dump. The number one thing he's got to secure is the dump pass. Once he knows it isn't the dump pass, he's got to get on the outside half of the tight end and not get hooked inside, not get walled inside, where we can now, he's out here, let's say they veer block it. Now, the linebacker ends up chasing the quarterback inside out. He ends up building a fence where the quarterback's got to turn up and not run that way away from the linebacker. He makes him turn back into the backer to help make the play. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Next thing we got then is we get the tight end blocking. We get the tight end blocking down, and we get the speed option. This is, I think, the hardest play for the strong safety. He now has what we call force contained. That means that I've got to get up, keep my outside arm and leg free, squeeze, and I've got the pitch on the option. Okay? Now, if they run the speed option, who do we expect to help us a lot? Quarterback, the Sam's going to take who? He's going to cat and mouse the quarterback, right? That linebacker ought to be running for what? The alley, right? Everything that happened took him outside. So this linebacker, safety's got to turn the ball back inside. When he does, we expect our linebacker again to be there to make a play. There was nothing to hold our linebacker. They ain't going to use him to run up and take the guard on. It's a speed option. It's fast flow. Get your butt in the alley and be inside out on the football. Okay? All right, now, the next thing we've got then is we've got what we call feather contained. The tight end blocks, dive, no pitch man. No blocker, right? Outside veer action. It's really what it would be like, okay? All right. I'm going to take the first threat, which means I'd take the dive. Linebacker's going to scrape, take the quarterback. I've got what? I've got the pitch. But there is no blocker. There's no reason for me to run upfield and leave a vertical lane for the quarterback, for the linebacker to chase the quarterback in. So I'm going to come to the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to keep outside leverage on the pitch man, but I'm going to play the pitch off the line of scrimmage. Now, do you understand why we want to do that? So I come up, and here comes the pitch. Now, I can't let them pitch the ball outside of me. I can't let that happen. But there's no reason for me to go running upfield, and now the quarterback's running this way, and that linebacker's running like a scalded dog from inside out, trying to run the quarterback down. When I can come up, keep leverage on the pitch, and at the same time constrict the alley that the quarterback has to run the football in. Does everybody understand that? Any questions on the strong safety? Yes, sir.
You'd do that if you want to make sure the quarterback's carrying the ball, wouldn't you? You want to force him to carry it, that way you're kind of like bleeding the back. Right?
Well, I want to do that just to give a linebacker a chance to make the play on the quarterback. I don't want our linebacker to get out athlete. I don't want the quarterback coach to do this. I don't want them to veer block, our end take the dive, and the quarterback take the ball now and run this way. Now that linebacker's running like heck, but I'm running here. I want the quarterback to take a football, and when he comes off that fake, have to turn up where the linebacker can make the play we're asking him to make. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that would still discourage the quarterback from pitching, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, we're gonna play the pitch.
Yeah.
The safety's got the pitch. He cannot come up and think that he has any responsibility for the quarterback. His only responsibility for the quarterback is to be sure that the quarterback is squeezed.
Yeah.
I don't want him thinking he's got the quarterback. If that pitch man runs down the field and the quarterback cut up for the ball, I would expect him to roll under the pitch. He can't come in and play the quarterback and let the ball be pitched.
What I was saying is when the quarterback saw the strong safety, he'd be less likely to pitch in that situation.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, you know, he probably would. He would be probably less likely to pitch if we ran the strong safety upfield. To be honest with you, I mean, he would be probably less likely to pitch if we just took our strong safety and ran him upfield. But by doing that, we have put more pressure on our linebacker. We put our linebacker between a rock and a hard place. You see what I mean, Coach?
So what you're doing is you're playing a sweat technique where the strong safety's playing both the pitch and the quarterback.
No.
No?
No.
Does he always keep outside?
He's
the pitch man?
always outside the pitch man. He can never, never, never let the ball be pitched around him. He cannot think that he has, all we're trying to do is to constrict the area that their quarterback has to run in. Our strong safety has no responsibility for the quarterback.
So he kind of inadvertently squeezes the lane down.
He does it through great coaching, great strategy, not inadvertently, but through great planning he does it. But what you don't want to do is to ever give him any inkling that you're going to be happy if he takes the quarterback. The only way he could ever take the quarterback is if the guy just ran over it and tripped over it. Because as soon as you tell them you got part of the quarterback, they're going to be jumping in there to help on the quarterback. They're going to kick the ball outside, and it's going to be burning tires and screaming women running down the sideline. Don't ever give them an excuse. Don't ever give them any way that they can misinterpret where there's any gray area about who's got who. Because if there's some way they can come up with an excuse, they're going to. I think one of the biggest things you got to do in coaching is eliminate excuses. We have a deal we go over with our whole defense at the first of every year, and it simply says this: no excuses. None given, none accepted. Don't tell me how stormy the sea is, just bring the ships on. Okay, I don't want to hear about all that other BS about this happening, that happening. I had chaff lips and the damn Indians came in out of the sun. It don't matter. I want you to get it done. If you can't get it done, I'm going to get somebody in here that can get it done. Because that's what you're going to do in my place. And yours too. No excuses. Don't give them any way where they can say, well, Coach, you said I had part of the quarterback. You got no part of the quarterback. You just play a feather contain. I told you there were 3 kinds of contain, right? Force contain, feather contain, and then I told you what the other one was. All right, now, any questions there about the strong safety on the run? Okay? All right, now, the ball goes away from the strong safety. The ball goes away from the strong safety. He is cap the stovepipe. If they ran a play to this side, he's going to cap the stovepipe. Always inside out on the ball, always in position where the ball can't do what? Go back across his face. Okay? Once he knows it's a run, he first has to start off and recognize off that for him. If it's like that, he's okay. If it's like that, what is that for him? That's pass, right? Ball off the line in the quarterback's hands. All right. Any question then on the run? Yes, sir.
Just real quick, Coach. I noticed in your very first drawing when we came back, on the single receiver side, you had the corner look like the same depth as the strong side corner. Was he at 4 yards or 9 yards or?
It depends. That corner will play anywhere from bumping that guy to 8 yards deep, 9 yards deep. depends on down and distance, on the style of offense we're playing, on whether we're trying to disguise the coverage. If we were playing an high formation team who's a good running, weak running football team, and it was 1st and 10, that corner might be 3 yards deep. You know, they're going to run the toss, they're going to run the option. If we're playing somebody in split backs who's going to be throwing the ball, and we're not worried about weak side run, that corner might be 8 yards deep. If it's a passing down, he's going to be sitting back there 8 yards deep. So how we play him, whether we play him hard or play a float technique, his depth is going to be down in distance. I think it's important that we use some judgment. We teach guys how to play. I mean, hopefully we're not going to play 3rd and 8 the same way we play 1st and 10. We're not going to play the high formation the same way we're going to play the shotgun, you know, if I'm doing a very good job coaching. And I think that's something we need to teach them, you know, how to play smart as well as play hard. I'll go into the weak side and how we play the corner a little bit later. Yes, sir, Coach.
Did you say how deep the strong corner and the strong safety are?
The strong corner bumps at times. I'll call that to bump that corner. We'll bump him just to keep him from throwing the quick game. We'll bump him and bail him. You know, I'll call one bump. That tells him you're playing cover 1, man coverage, and you're playing bump and run. I'll call one bail. That tells him you line up like you're playing bump and bail. That means you're just running in your crossovers. You're still playing man, but when we bail, we always stay on the guy's outside shoulder. Or we'll play cover 1, and if we play cover 1, he's going to be about 8, 9 yards deep off the receiver. Okay? The strong safety will be anywhere from 8 to 10 yards, again, depending on the style of offense. If they were a team who ran the flare option a lot, and he was going to have to come up and force contain, he would be 8 yards deep. We don't see that much anymore. Most of the time, he's going to be about 10 yards deep. Okay? Again, down in distance, who we're playing, style of offense, what he's going to be called on to do will have a whole lot to do with where he is. Okay? All right. Now, so let's talk about the strong safety against the pass. We talked about the strong safety against the run. Let's talk about the strong safety against the pass, okay? All right. Strong safety. You line up, basically about 10 yards deep. You give a read call. You get ball off the line in the quarterback's hands. And the tight end releases in the middle. You are a quarter player. You're responsible for number 2 deep in the middle. You play over the tight end. Now, I used to tell that guy you cover the tight end. But one of the biggest passes against cover 1 or quarter halves is to run this guy down about 10 to 12 yards and hook him and throw a post to that guy to try to get him to jump on him and leave him without any help, okay? So what I tell him is you play over the top of him. If he hooks, you double him. If he's going deep, then I've got him deep. Everybody see that? Okay? Now, if the tight end blocks, goes flat, you double any inside cut by number 1. So here's the safety's technique. I've lined up, walking out, tight end's down the middle. I'd open up and get on his upfield shoulder, right? Low block him. He's running a deep route. Everything you tell a corner on a post, I tell the strong safety if the tight end went deep. All right? Actually, initially, I'd be over the top of him, and then as he came on, and I'd end up being on his upfield shoulder. Initially, I'm going to be over the top of him because of the hook and go. If I was over the top of him and I saw him hook, then I would just open back and double ones if he was running a post. All right, now, if the tight end goes flat or blocks, I'm backing up, I'm going to open, and I'm gonna double any inside cut by number 1. All right? So if they run a curl, I want to be in a position, I am going to intercept the curl. And when he runs a curl, I am going over the top and protect the safety. Okay? I now am going to play, I'm going to help Sam on the wheel route and the safety on the curl and go. Now, you know how I said that if they run the quick game, we're going to protect the corner if we ask him to play aggressive with the safety over the top, right? If we're going to ask our safety to play aggressive on the curl, then we've got to protect him with the corner over the top. Does that make sense to you? Now, guys, our max linebacker cannot play the curl. He is a hook curl player. He will not, enough times to keep me from getting fired, play the curl route. He won't do it. He can't do it. And if you've got one that can, let me know, because we won't recruit him. Because I haven't seen any of them in a long time that could do it. Because what do they do with that curl route now? They sit that sucker down out there just barely inside the numbers, right? He can't make that play on the damn motorcycle. All right? So now, what we're going to tell that safety, you open up. You're getting the curl route. Bait him. Don't run up there and stand on it, because what are they not going to do? They're not going to throw it. I want to lay by the water and hold. Wait on them to throw that sucker, and when they do, I'm going to intercept that ball going downhill. That guy has got to make that play in quarter halves. That guy should make that play all day long in quarter halves. And he can do it if he knows the corner is going to do what? Protect him over the top. What do you say, what do you do, Coach, if they run the post? I roll and run with it, right? So if they ran a post, what would happen? If that guy ran a post, the safety would be underneath and the corner would be on his upfield shoulder. What do I like about quarter halves? On every route but one, we're doubling both of their wideouts, right? It's really what we're doing, isn't it? If the tight end goes down the middle, we're not doubling the flanker. We're single covered on him. But if the tight end goes flat, if he blocks, or if he drags, we're doubling all inside cuts by number 1. Which means we got both of their wide receivers on one side, we're playing halves, and we're doubling with a corner and a half safety. On the other side, we're doubling like a man technique and really doubling the flanker. We can play the heck out of the curl because we're doing it with our safety and not with a linebacker. Okay. Yes, sir, Coach.
Just real quick, what technique is the Sam taught?
Okay, I'm going to come back to the underneath coverage in just a minute. Let me go ahead and get the secondary first, okay? Any questions on the strong safety? Now, to answer your question, and I'll be in go more detail later, the Sam, remember how in cover 3 I talked about the safety in the MAC? The strong safety? The Sam rule is you are the curl flat player. You can never be outflanked. We don't worry about the flanker. I know with Sam in a 9 technique, he couldn't get under the out cut no matter what we told him. So our corner's playing the wide receiver. Sam can never be outflanked by anybody going to the flat. The tight end can't outflank him. The back can't outflank him. Okay? He's got curl, flat, and the wheel route, which means anybody from inside out that goes flat and up. The Mike linebacker is the hook curl player. You stay between 2 and 3. The wheel backer, you stay between 2 and 3, and your 3's coming from the other side. The corner's playing like all of our flat players are playing.
Could you draw that up?
Sir?
Could you draw that up there, Drops?
Yeah, I'm going to draw that up. Let me, I'll just take the strong side and draw it up right here. All right, now, if he goes to the flat, I'm coming through the curl to the flat. I don't want to jump on him right like that because it lets him throw the slant route. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to come through the slant, curl, and if he goes there, I'm going there. If he turned up, I'd roll and run with him. Okay? Mike linebacker, that's 1, 2, 3. All right? Let's say he went flat and he ran a curl. He comes inside. I'm going to get between 2 and 3, but I'm going to favor 3 because it's a shorter throw, and also because what's he doing? Because he's playing the heck out of the curl, right? All right. Will, my job is to stay between, now he's becoming 1, he's becoming 2, between 2 and 3, and my 3's coming from the other side, right? So we zone them up just like we did in cover 3, okay? Now, if the tight end went inside, as soon as the tight end goes inside, he becomes number 3. Because we know if he goes inside, most of the time he's coming out, right? So he becomes 3, he becomes 1, he becomes 2, I'm robbing the curl, I'm running with a flatten up, I'm over the top. Everybody see that? And now the mic can play this one a lot tougher. Okay? We're really playing, again, with our underneath coverage. If you go back to it, we're really playing matchup zone defense like basketball. As soon as we figure who the heck is in our zone, we're going to match up on them. We're not chasing guys across. We're not playing man in the sense that we're going to chase people. But as soon as we determine who we have, who's coming into our area, we're playing that guy, man in my zone. Yes, sir.
Where are you lining your corners up? Because you have the safety stack at 10.
Our corner lines up, our strong corner lines up about 9 yards deep off of the receiver, 8 to 9.
Does he roll up, or is it just, he takes 2 meat steps just like the cover 3?
He just walks out. And again, he can be slow walking out. If they throw the quick game, I'm going to take 1 step and I'm coming forward. He's going to drive forward and play the quick game better than the guy you line up at 6 yards deep. Because the guy you line up at 6 yards deep, on the snap of the football, he better start pushing back hard. And all his momentum is going back, and that other guy's just sitting there doing that. Knowing that they're not going to run by him because you've given him some comfort. You've given him a comfort zone. And now they can play slower coming out. Okay?
Coach,
Yes, sir.
on the single receiver side, with the other corner, if they have a super wide split, where are you playing that corner? Are you splitting the difference, or?
Let me wait and I'll go to the other side in just a second. I'm getting ready to go to the Hankville side in just a second. Okay. Now, any questions there? All right, one other thing on this side. Now, and that this is you brought up a good point because I'm going to be the same problem on the other side. Let's say that we call cover 4, or cover 1 rather, and that guy takes a short split. Now, do we need to be in quarters if that guy's got a short split? If he's got a short split, what's he probably going to do? Right. He's probably going to crack our safety, isn't he? All right? If he's going to run an out or do something outside. So if we get a short split, we're going to check cover 1, we're going to check it to cover 2. We got a short split in there that he's going to go check cloud, which cloud means to us, I got the flat, I got deep, I've got curl, I've got a hook.
Well, this is the side.
When that safety looks out there and doesn't like that split, because he's the guy that's fixing to get his butt knocked off. Right? All right? But now, let's say that we didn't call cloud, and let's say that this guy cracks. The corner now is what? He's a replacement player. Who does he replace? Well, if he cracks the safety and the tight end blocks, he's got the pitch. Right? You see what I'm saying? If they crack the Sam and the tight end blocks, he replaces the alley. He replaces whoever got cracked. He's a replacement player. If they crack the run support player, he's got to play the pitch. If they cracked our alley player, he's got to play the alley. He's got to know who got cracked and be a replacement player for us. Now, do you understand why we would check cover 1 to cover 2? Okay, I'm the safety. I know as soon as they understand our support scheme, they're going to try to run the ball and crack the strong safety, right? That's what they ought to do. So I'm sitting out there now, and I've got a short split. That corner ought to be saying, watch your crack, watch your crack. That safety ought to say, check, cloud, cloud. The old corner ought to say to Sam, cloud, cloud. Sam ought to say to the Mike, cloud, cloud. What did Cloud say? Cloud said we're in cover 2. Instead of checking the number, we check the run support. If we had cover 2 called, okay? Let's say that we had cover 2 calls and they come up with a big old giant split. Let's say we got cover 2 called and the ball's on this hash. And let's say this guy split outside the other hash to the numbers. Do we want to play cover 2 against that? If you were to say, now, when they take that kind of split, they're doing it for 2 reasons. What are they? Number 1, they want to get a big alley to run the football in and make that corner cloud supported, right? If there's a big old split there, it's a heck of a long way for that corner to close that alley down, right? So they're taking the big split either to run the ball in the alley or to run what? A vertical stretch on that safety. So why would we want to play hands? So now the safety would say, check, read, which tells him now we're back playing what? Quarters. So let them run that alley. We'll be out here and cover that guy. They couldn't throw him out with a jugs machine, right? Now, I told him read, and we told him read, which told us now we're playing a read technique. I'll be the support player. I'm a curl flat player. We're going to let the split of the receivers put us in the most advantageous coverage for us to be the most successful. Don't ask guys to do something that they can't do. They won't think they're bad players. They'll think you're a dumb coach. Always put them in a position to be successful. Put them in a position where they can make easy plays, successful plays. Now, does the split of the receivers make a difference? Guys, I promise you, they're not going to crack you with this wide split. Because if they try to, what happens? They can't get you, right? And when they get ready to crack you and run out cuts, if the ball's on the hash, their receiver's going to be on the hash. And if the ball's 2 yards off of the hash, the receiver's going to be moved 2 yards outside of the hash in the same basic relationship with football. Study the splits because it makes a big difference. Okay, anything now on the strong side of quarter halves that you're not comfortable with or that you don't understand? Excuse me one second. Yes, sir.
I think you already said it, so I don't know if the tight end runs a post or a middle route, and the wide receiver on the strong side runs the post. The corner is
got it. He's in man coverage. Corner is playing man unless that receiver runs shallow across the field.
When he runs a curl,
If he runs a curl and the tight end came outside, the corner's over the top. Okay? Everybody see that? Any questions? All right, let's go to the other side. All right, now, to understand what we're doing on the weak side, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and explain our run support. We have 3 types of run support. Read run support, you know what that is, right? Read run support is when an outside linebacker and a defensive back are reading off the tight end to determine who's primary run support, right? The second kind of run support we have is cloud run support. And built into cloud run support is a principle that I call, for lack of something better to call it, the crack and load principle. Alright? Now, I'm going to explain that because that's the principle that we play on the weak side of cover one. That's the principle we play with cloud run support. Alright, now, and we play this principle, what we're trying to do, guys, is I want double run force. If the receiver blocks, I don't want the free safety back there kicking his rear end. I want him up run support. Okay? Alright, we cannot win unless we get all 11 of our people involved in the run. Now, they run the toss. They run the toss sweep. This corner is going to attack the point approximately halfway between the wideout and the tackle, and I want him to force the wideout to turn his shoulders to block him. If they're going to run the toss over there, who do they have to block your corner with? With a wideout, right? If they don't have a play. Okay? So if I'm the corner, I'm sitting looking inside, I may be 3 yards deep, I may be 8 yards deep. But when I get the toss sweep, I am going to attack at an angle and at a speed that is going to make this wide receiver turn his shoulders this way to block me. Okay? Now, I am coming as fast as I can come. If I've got him beat, I will dip and rip upfield and make the play. At a point that I don't know, come here, coach. Let's say that I get right here and he's got me, right? He's got me. What does any good defensive player do when he gets blocked down on and he crosses the face, right? I don't want to come under the block, run around the block. I'm going to take my outside arm and I'm going to club him and try to pull myself across. Okay? But if I've got him beat, if I think I can beat him, I'm going to dip and rip. Now, here's the free safety. The ball's tossed. There's no reason to go backwards. It's not pass action, it's toss action. It could be a halfback pass, though. Who's going to tell me? Number one, right? I'm going to shuffle sideways and look at one. If one has turned his shoulders, it isn't a halfback pass, right? Who are they going to throw it to? They can't parachute somebody in behind you. They ain't no use being back there guarding grass. They got one guy on your side of the field and he's blocking. Now, UFWN. FWN. What does FWN mean? Field where needed. So he's right here, boom, boy, he ought to be coming. I've seen our free safety come up and tackle him in the backfield, and I certainly expect them to make the play for a yard or two gain. Okay? Now, you fit off of the corner. You fit off of the corner. You fill where needed. Now, you got more guys now than they can block if you get the free safety involved in run support. That's what I call double run force. You say, what if they throw the halfback pass? They can't throw the halfback pass. Not to anybody that he needs to be covering. So why have him backpedaling out of the stadium back there guarding grass? Alright? Next thing that can happen then is the option.
She said you had three runs for it.
No. The first one is force contained. The second one's feather contained. And the other one I'll tell you about when they turn the TV on. Now, next thing that happens then is the option principle. And built in the option principle, we have dive and stalk, dive and fade, crack and flare. And I will show you how this works in all phases of run support. Crack and flare, crack and load. Alright. Corner, free safety. Dive, ball on the line in the quarterback's hands. I now want to attack the receiver right for the middle of his face, and I can't get there too quick. Again, what do I want the receiver to have to do? I want him to tell me, are you blocking me, or are you running the fade? Where I can do what? Where if you're blocking me, I can get double run force. Now, so I'm sitting here and the ball comes on the line, I don't want to attack inside now. I want to run right at that receiver. Excuse me, man. He's burning. If the receiver is indeed going to block me, you will see both of his numbers. As I attack and I look at the receiver, because if he's going to block me, here's what's going to happen. He's going to widen his base, and he's going to lower his center of gravity, right? And when he does, what's going to happen? Both numbers are going to come up. Now, when he does, here's what I want to do. Come here, Coach. All right. He's the blocker. Break down. Here's what I want to do. I want to shoot my hands just like any defensive player. Okay, I'm going to grab his shirt right here. And when I grade the film, if I don't see their jersey pulled, they get a minus. Here's the mistake my guys make. They want to do this. Okay? When I do that, I just got to keep whipping him again, right? I want to grab this guy's shirt, and I want to grab a handful of jersey in each hand, and I want to yank him. I'm going to throw him. I mean, I'm going to grab it, and I want to see that jersey pulled, and I'm going to throw him, and now I'm going to whip him outside most of the time, right? I'm going to whip him outside and force the ball back most of the time. Into the boundary, I'm coming inside most of the time, okay? Now, so here I'm coming, I'm looking at him, I'm going to shoot those hands, I'm going to grab his shirt, and I'm going to sling him, just like that. And I can sling him if I will grab his shirt. If I do this, I can't. I can't get off the block, okay? Free safety, I'm going to shuffle, and I'm going to look at the receiver, and if he's blocking, what am I going to do? FWN. Field where needed, right? Okay, any questions there? Yeah, Coach?
How come you don't use the rip technique there if you're going to try to...
Because I don't want to rip the guy, because I don't want to rip him and he's running the fade route. You see what I'm saying?
So you can jam it. That's your technique.
Right now, I have the problem in that I don't know whether it's a play action pass yet or not. Okay? But I still don't want to run by him because I don't want him to clear the corner too quick because of the dead spot on the fade route. Yeah.
What about versus the wide side of the field?
It's no different.
Same thing?
No different. I'm going to come outside though. I'm going to come outside most of the time because I don't want to get pinned inside and let the ball go around me very often. Now, if they just give my guys the inside, what I tell them is this, I don't have real strange coaching techniques. What I tell my guys is, if he comes inside and makes a play, I tell him he did a great job. If he comes inside and gets his butt pinned, he knows I'm going to crawl him in his front. So I tell him this, I don't care if you come inside. If you do, you better make the play. Every time you come inside, you better make the play. You come inside and get pinned inside, it's going to be me and you, and it's mostly going to be me. Because that'll get us beat. But I don't want to coach caution into good players, too. There's a time when the guy gives it away, and you don't want him to be so afraid to come inside and make a play that he won't make one. And my guys laugh about that because some guy will do something like that and make a great play, and they'll say, "That's all right, because you made the play, but you better make the play." That's what the old ones are telling young ones. When you do that, it's like coming underneath the guy on the outcut. If you ever come under, you better have the ball. You better have the ball, or you're going to be in some severe heat on your butt if you don't, okay? All right, now, so we got dive and stalk. Next one we get then is dive and fade. What do? I get ball on the line, okay? I get ball on the line. I start to attack. Now I don't see his two numbers, I see the top of his shoulders. What's happening? I'm getting a fade route. He doesn't want to get his numbers up because he doesn't want me to do what to him? Doesn't want me to grab him, right? So now what I'm going to do is the corner, I'm going to play the same kind of a technique we play in man coverage. As he tries to evade me, I'm going to throw my inside arm. Okay? So he tries to go out, I'm going to try to punch him. Now I may or may not punch him. Okay, I may not punch him. But I'm mainly throwing my inside arm, one, because if I could punch him, I would like to flatten him a little bit to try to keep him from getting vertical if I could. But I may not. The biggest thing throwing my arm does is it turns my hips. Okay, it opens my hips up, gets me turned around. Now, here's the key. As soon as I do this, I got to do this and get my eyes back. Because if they dump the ball, who's got the pitch? I do. How do I know if they're dumping or not? It's real simple. If the quarterback's doing this, they're not dumping it. They're trying to throw the fade. If he turns and does that, he's going to dump it, and I'm going to come off the fade and go tackle the pitch guy. You say, well, how can he do both? Simple. They got one football. The pitch guy's 5 yards deep. He's got to make 5 yards to get back to the line of scrimmage. He can come up and make that play for a yard or two gain all the time. Now, what I want to have happen is this. That quarterback's looking for the fade. The ball's outside of me. Where is the guy going? Outside. I've got to work my hips into the boundary. Do I have to cover the guy? Not really. Who has to cover? The safety. But what I don't want to do is let them throw that ball before the safety can get there. I want to make the guy put some air under the ball. There's a dead spot, guys, in cover 2. From the line of scrimmage to about, 8, 10, 12 yards deep, depending on how good your safety is. There's a dead spot in there that there isn't a safety in America can make that play. And every time they hit that dead spot, it's a potential touchdown. Because here's what happens. If the safety comes too fast, they catch it and do what? Go back under him, right? If the safety doesn't come fast enough, they catch it and run down the boundary. It's like that poker game. Where you open your hand up, you got 1 chip high or 2 chips low, and you decide you're going to go both ways, and you screwed high and can't win low. That's what happens to him. He's coming over the top. If he's too slow, he's dead. If he's too fast, he's dead. The corner has to make that play for him. Okay? The corner has to make them. Here's what we tell our underneath guys. Don't let the quarterback throw the ball from his ear to the receiver. Make him put some air under the ball. If he puts some air under the ball, then we're going to be okay. If you understand what we're trying to get done with our corner, I'm realistic enough to know our corner's not going to run toward the line of scrimmage, pivot all of a sudden, and cover this guy down the boundary for a deep pass, okay? I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. I'm smarter than that. But I do believe that our corner can open and pivot and cover that guy for 5 or 6 yards, at least make the ball be over his head. Now, you understand what we're trying to do? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So we've got dive and stalk, dive and fade. All right? The next one we get then is crack and flare. Crack and flare. Corner's got force contained. Okay? What's force contained mean to me?
Yeah, the force to run it back and contain outside.
Force contained means that there's a lead blocker and I got a hard jointed, which means I'm going to take it on with my inside shoulder, keep my outside arm and leg free, right? I've got the pitch. Free safety, you go flat. You go flat, check for crack and go and fill where needed. Okay? All right. Now, the last one is what we call crack and load. All right? He cracks. He's inside. Corner's got the quarterback. Free safety's got the pitch. Now you say, Coach, that's option that's wishbone football. We start out teaching run support just like we play wishbone football, because that's how we play all options. Now, how does he know the corner's got the quarterback? Because everything went inside with the pitch man, right? Crack and load. Who needs the help? The linebacker that's getting loaded, right? Corner play cat and mouse the quarterback. Free safety's got the pitch. Now, let me show you how that fits in to everything we do in run support. Let's put a tight end up here. Let's say they come up with two tights. Pro tight. Okay? We make a cloud call on the back side. Okay? Alright? They run the toss. He force contains, check number one, and fill where needed. No different, is it? They run dive and stalk. With the stalk block outside, fill where needed. It's not any different than if he was a wideout, right? Dive and fade. I got dump, just like he was a wideout, right? Crack and flare. Force contain, fill where needed. Crack and load. Quarterback, pitch. Does that make sense to you? Two receiver sides wouldn't be any different. Let's say they had a wing. Say we got a cloud call on them. Dive and stalk, dive and fade, crack and flare. Now, what would make him on the quarterback and him on the pitch? Takes everything inside with the pitch man, right? He blocks down, he's inside, he's on the quarterback, he's on the pitch. What are we doing? We're using all of our people, right? When they block somebody, we quit covering and start run support. We're utilizing all of our people in run support. Coach, you had a question?
Yeah, your weak side is the single receiver side, so your front, your defensive end on that side, is he inside?
In the 7 technique. If our basic front, we'd be like this, Coach. If we were in weak eagle, we would be like this. Sam, in, tackle shaded, Mike, we'd have 3. The bandits rule tells them that when there are 3 guys to your side, you line up a 7 technique. We'd have a corner right there, a wheel backer, free safety, strong safety corner. So if they tried to run the option and block here like this, load option or dive option, cornered on the quarterback, he's on the pitch, ain't nobody home there, children. But if we don't use him on the quarterback, then we got trouble right here in River City. Right? Again, that guy is our 8-man front defensive end, right? We're an 8-man front football team. When they add another gap, we add another player. Does that make sense to you? All right. Now, let me show you how simple, once you learn that run support, how simple it is then. Let's say that we go to cover 3. That's our other type of, we've got cloud, we've got reed, and we've got sky. Let's say that they come up in twins. Okay, Sam's going over here, isn't he? In, tackle, Mike, in, bandit. Check, cover 3. Backside corner gives a read call. Everything I told you about the strong safety is now true for the backside corner, except that he's a thirds player instead of a quarters player. Does that make sense to you? We're playing cover 3, so if it's a pass, he's playing thirds, where the strong safety in cover 1 is playing quarters. Other than that, tight end releases, I got dumped alley, I got pitch. Tight end blocks, and it's an option, I got the pitch. Toss sweep, fill where needed. Nothing's different, is it? Everybody see that? Okay? Now on this side, this is what's so great. He gives a sky call. Now, forget these two guys. If it's cover three, we're playing thirds, aren't we? If it's a pass. Run support, forget them. He has no run support unless he does what? Cracks. And then he is a replacement player. He replaces whoever he cracks. He's not man-to-man, he's playing thirds. Because he doesn't jump the out because of two run in the corner. Okay, now, when I say that forget them, all I'm saying is we swap them 1 for 1. This guy's the corner, he's the free safety on the weak side. Okay? They run the toss. Boot, boot. It's like the corner and free safety, right? Dive and stalk, dive and fade, crack and flare, crack and load, quarterback, pitch. What's the difference? So our players know from day one they're in one of 3 types run support. We're in read run support, or we're in cloud or sky run support. If we're in cloud or sky run support, the crack and load principle, we play it. Read run support, there is no crack and load principle. In read run support, the guy who's the deep defender can never have anything but the pitch. In other words, tight end block, he can't ever have the quarterback because there's no other DB over there playing with us. Does that make sense to you? Everybody see that? Any questions there? All right. Now, do you understand now the run on quarter halves, the backside run? All right, let's talk about the pass then. Backside of quarter halves. All right. Now, we play this 2 ways. We play this 2 ways. We either play funnel or we play float with a corner. I'm going to tell you both ways. Which of the 2 ways we play really depends on your formation, down and distance, same stuff I always talk about, okay? If you're in the I formation and it's first down, that corner will play what I call a hard corner. He's going to be lined up closer. If it's a pass, he's going to play a funnel technique. So let's talk about funneling. Okay. Corner's reading, ball on and off the line of scrimmage. He reads pass action. He reads the pass. All right, now, the corner is now going to execute what we call a funnel on the wide receiver. My eyes are going to leave the quarterback, and they are going to come to the wide receiver until I have him under control with my hands. Okay, I lined up basically in a 9 technique. If coach would try to come outside, every step I take is going to be parallel. I'm not going to step up to hit him. I'm not going to drop back to hit him. What the best way to describe it, I think, for our players, I'm going to try to take a charge. Just like if I was in basketball playing the baseline, I'm going to slide my body and make him run over me to go where he's trying to get to. So it's coach is working outside, I'm sliding. I'm not going to try to go forward to hit you. Now, there's a point where I'm not going to be on your outside shoulder anymore because you're releasing and I'm sliding my feet, right? I don't ever want to cross my feet. I'm now going to end up just about on your inside shoulder. I want to look at you all the way. My guys get in trouble because they try to look back here and hit the receiver. My eyes are watching the receiver. As soon as I get my hands on that receiver, I'm going to explode my eyes back to the football. And I'm going to try to keep sliding that front foot in front of that receiver. Take a charge. Take a charge. Here's what my guys want to do that gets them in trouble. They want to jam the receiver and drop that foot. And when they drop that foot, they've opened that escape lane that makes you turn. Okay? So I'm here. It should be slide, slide. Now, when I jam, I don't want to hit out. I want to hit up. I want to change his momentum from going this way, his shoulders, to that. Now, I'm not trying to kill him. The harder you try to hit him, the more likely you are to miss him or to get yourself off balance where you can't play pass defense. I want to absorb the receiver. I want to let the receiver come into me, and when he gets right here, boom, I want to hit up and raise his shoulders up. Now I want to get my hands on him and flatten him, and now my eyes are back here, and there's a point when I lose him outside, I then want to execute a zone turn. And a zone turn to me is opening into the quarterback. So when I lose him, I don't want to pivot and head whip because I lose vision on the ball. I want to slide, I lose him outside, open, and now, coach, I want to slide. Not in my crossovers, but slide. I want to slide like this, and I want to read the quarterback. I want to sink, and make the ball bring me up. Now, if 2 is coming out, as I slide, I not only want to get depth, but I want to get what? Width. I don't ever want to be in a position where anybody can catch the ball outside of me. Okay? So as he gets width, I want to get width where now, if the quarterback throws the ball, I can still tackle him while he's still a receiver. Does that make sense to you? Okay. All right, now, again, it goes back, guys, to the same thing that I said to you this morning. Who do we want him to cover? We want him to cover the one that they throw to. That's common, isn't it? That's a common route. We want him to cover the one they throw to. All right? I sink. Now, this is an inside release. We'll go over this in a minute. Okay? But let's say I jammed and I opened and I started to slide and 2 was coming to the flat and I work and I'm looking at who? The quarterback. And I'm reading the quarterback. He loads up to throw the fade route. What am I going to do? I'm going to turn and work my hips into the boundary and squeeze. And this is something, guys, that I think will really help you, that I hope you'll remember. Anytime that you zone turn and you're running looking at the quarterback, you've got to really coach your guys to lean into the boundary. There's something about looking inside that makes you want to do what? Makes you want to drift inside. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you. All I can tell you is that over the years, it's true. It's like if a guy's covering a deep pass, and he opens into the quarterback, and he's running like this, and the receiver's out here. If you don't watch it, the receiver's going to do what? He's going to fade into the boundary anyway, isn't he? If you don't watch it, your guy will be coming this way a little bit, and there'll be an area open up. So when we open our hips into the boundary, one of the things we're really going to hammer them about is squeeze. You know, we tell them lean into the sideline. Lean into the sideline and be sure that you're working your hips into the boundary. So when I open and slide, if he was going to throw the fade, I want to really lean into the boundary. Do I have to cover him deep on the fade? No. Who covers him?
Receiver.
But what do I want to make the quarterback do? Throw the ball over me, right? Throw the ball over me, okay? All right. Now, any questions there? All right, now let's look at an inside release like we've got here. The mistake that you make on inside releases is worrying too much about hitting the guy. Where are you trying to get him to go when you're playing half-field coverage? Inside, right? Our basic philosophy in half-field coverage is this. We would like to constrict their passing game inside the hash marks. If you could get all their receivers squeezed inside the hash marks, I could still go play half-field safety. You can sit on the hash mark and play all day long, right? The problem is when you get stretched across the field. So if a guy takes an inside release, we don't need to worry about chasing him down inside because he's already going where we want him to be anyway, right? So if he goes inside, I'm going to slide because there's a difference in him releasing through my inside shoulder and upfield because he can still get where? Back outside, right? So if he comes in here, I want to get my hands on him. But if he goes real shallow inside, I now am going to open like this and slide down. Now, it's two coming out. What have I got to do? I've got to work back outside, right? Okay, remember this. If he released inside and went across the field, you ought to see him, right? If he released inside and you don't see him anymore, where is he? He's back out behind you, right? Okay? So, if two's coming out to make you get wider, you need to start getting wind. If one went inside and you don't see him, you better start getting wind. If two went away and one goes inside, where is your threat coming from? The other side, right? Across the field. It's going to be the tight end. It's going to be a back leaking back through. So now I'm looking here. If I'm getting stretched, as I begin to get stretched, I'm going to work back outside this way. Now, I used to make guys flip over the other way. You know, we would start down inside, and then I'd make them turn their hips over and work back out this way. But what I found happen to them is they can't find the corner route. You know, they're coming back out, and the corner route's back here, and they're not sure where it is. Now, I found it was better for them to do this, to come back out this way, because now they've got vision on the flat route, and they can see the corner route, and if they try to throw the ball on the corner route, they can come back out here and make a play. Two things on the corner route, guys, that I think are critical. Number one, the corner must play the corner route. The safety cannot defend that route. Because what's the route that will get you beat the fastest in half-field coverage? It's the post, right? The post will get you killed. Well, you can't expect the safety to play the post and the post corner. I mean, that's not realistic. If he's going to favor inside leverage, if he's going to be tough on the post route, okay, then you can't realistically expect him to be able to be all over the corner route. So what we can, and plus the fact, the teams that are any good, when they throw this corner route, what do with it? They bring it back like that, right? So that corner has got to play that route for that guy, okay? The other thing that will help you is this. Tell the corner to run where the guy's going to end up, not where he's coming from. What happens to our corner on the corner route, they'll start back and the guy will be in here and they'll want to start working in what they need to do. Where's the corner route going to be thrown? On the sideline, right? So what they need to do is when they start getting this, they need to start running for the sideline. That's where the ball is going to be thrown. Start running to intersect the receiver at the point where they're going to throw the football, not where he is and where he's coming back out. Okay? Now, safety, you need to be on this route over his upfield shoulder. Okay?
How deep are you talking?
You're talking about the safety?
Well, the corner route out.
Most of the ones we get, Coach, are about 18, 20 yards deep. Wherever the corner route is, I want the corner to be back under it. And what I always say to our corner is this. If we're going to give them something, let's give them what? That one right there. Now, we don't really have to give them either one of them. But let's don't make the mistake of trying to stop a 5-yard pass and letting them complete a ball that's a 20-yard catch when the guy catches it. You know what I'm saying? If we've got to, you know, my philosophy is this. Let's make them, I'd rather bleed a little bit than to let them just hit an artery right off the bat. They might hit 3 or 4 of those 5-yard passes, but we can get in man or something if we have to stop it. But I would expect this, Coach, to be honest with you. I would expect our corner to sink back and the quarterback to do this, right? As soon as the quarterback looks and he can't do that, where's he going right now? And as soon as he does this, our corner's coming right back. Okay? And they should catch the ball and we should hit the guy before he turns up.
You also got your weak side backer out.
Weak side linebacker, we've got some other people. But we are going to protect the deeper route first and make the ball bring us up. But again, I can't emphasize too much to you how talking to players about playing with their eyes is important. You know, that's I think the poorest thing that all of us do as football coaches is coach playing with your eyes. Because your eyes tell your brain, and your brain tells your feet. And when you play like this, you can't play very well, and you can't play very smart. And the other thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to coach good players into being robots. And we're all guilty of that, of coaching caution into good football players. We want to coach guys to cut loose and play. We've got an outside linebacker on our football team. We had one of our starting outside linebackers is 6'4", 235, came here from junior college. He set the woods on fire in a real basketball. I mean, he put a show on. He was slamming over all of them. He, one of our inside linebackers, and one of our other outside linebackers beat 3 of our best basketball players in a 3-on-3 tournament at the school. We had like a school fair the other day. Now, that second team outside linebacker is one of the best athletes on our team. He's 225 pounds. He ran 4.6 the other day in our off-season testing. But he don't play that way. Because when he gets in football, he looks like a dadgum wind-up toy. And it's like I told him, I said, Philip, I want you to play football like you play 3-on-3 basketball. I want you to run and jump and cut and shoot and quit worrying about doing something wrong and start thinking about all the things you can do right. Don't coach caution into good players. Don't make guys so afraid they're going to do something wrong that they can't turn loose and play and have fun. And that's what my job in the fall is, to get this guy to play like the athlete he is. Because if we do that, then he's going to be a pretty dadgum good football player. Okay. Anything, excuse me, Coach, anything in the quarter hash? Yes, sir.
Weak side curl.
Weak side curl. We're giving that linebacker a pregame meal. We expect that sucker ought to make a play every now and then. That's it. Okay? That's what I tell the linebacker coach. We're going to feed your guys a pregame too. All right? That's what I like about being a defensive coordinator and coaching secondary. We're giving them front guys and secondary, big linebackers, we're going to feed all them and let them fly with us. And they better do something every now and then. They go curl right there. You're the hook curl player. Now, Coach, I would say this. Our corner will play the curl also, because I expect them all to do what? Play the football, right? So I expect our corner to sit back with enough width to play the flat, but enough depth to play what? The curl. Does that make sense to you? So if he's sitting and that quarterback loads up, I would expect that corner to go underneath for that curl route. Now, the biggest mistake, guys, that you can make with underneath players, I want our underneath coverage players to go for the interception every time. When you're an underneath player, we've got 2 rules. Go for the great hit and go for the interception. Now, if you're a deep player, you can't always play that reckless, right? If you're a deep player, you can't always play that reckless. But when you're the underneath player, then you better let it all hang out. Now, we don't want our corner to go behind the curl. Because if he goes behind the curl, he and the safety can make the same play. You understand what I'm saying? They run a curl route. If they run a curl route and our corner comes behind the guy, he and the safety can make the same play. He should gamble and go in front of the guy. Our linebackers should gamble and go for the interception. Now, there may be a point I'm coming for the ball where I see I can't get the interception. Then I'm gonna be able to knock the fire out of the guy because the ball's gonna take me to the receiver, and the receiver may not necessarily take me to the ball. Coach, you think you had a question?
Yeah, you said versus trips, there were 3. What about trips to the tight end, 3 also?
No, we're still quarter.
Can you throw that?
Yes, sir. Now, again, the only thing that puts us in 3 with quarter called is twins with a tight end and what I call twin trips, which is a tight end and it's twin trips. Look, when we get, this is what we call pro trips. Then if we were in quarters, Sam would just come off, okay? Again now, if they don't block down on our end, he better make the play if they run outside, okay? You see what I'm saying? Now, Sam's still reading. He's still playing a read technique. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you? If that guy blocks, what's he going to do? He's going to come. Okay? He's going to come. Back here, we're playing the same.
How about the pass coverage?
It's no different.
No difference for the...
Now, the safety won't rob the curl unless he knows where everybody is, okay? You understand what I'm saying? If all 3 of these guys stayed on this side, they would play more like quarters. Okay? If they tried to run 4 verticals on us, coach, like that, here's what would happen in reality. He would be deep over him. He would be in between those 2 till he got over him. He would sink back and take him.
Does the free safety's alignment change at all?
No. You don't move him over because he's still working weak side mainly. We just think, you know, basically he's going to stay in the middle and he'll get over there and pick that one up for us.
If, let's say, the widest man ran shallow.
Underneath,
Yeah.
we let him go, and now the corner's locked on him, he'd lock on him, the free safety wouldn't come over. Because now he's got a second, because see, they could do that. He's got a second threat on his side. You know what I mean?
Okay. So with doubles, you treat that like twin, now it's 3 and doubles?
No, doubles, you talking about pro doubles?
No tight end? No tight
Oh,
end doubles?
this,
Yeah.
that doubles?
Yeah.
No, Sam would be there, corner would be there, strong safety. Sometimes we'll play double, bring the wheel backer out and we'll either play halves over here and quarters over here, or sometimes we play double quarters.
But what's the difference in the thinking there between twin, normal twin, and this type of?
Twin trips, you mean?
No, well, you said
Normal
you're playing...
twins?
Yeah, normal twins.
Well, on normal twins, they got 2 backs in the game, in the backfield. When they got 2 backs in the backfield, we're going to have linebackers sitting inside.
All right.
We're not going to move a linebacker out. Only way we'd ever move a linebacker out is for them to have 1 back.
Okay, thank
You
you.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
We
sir.
move the motion like Rod shoots down. One slot goes to the other side, and then it gets take one of your slots and motion across the formation.
Either slot, if we were in basic quarters like this, and he moved like that, we'd slide him back in and slide him over. He went that way, we'd just slide over.
You checking the 3 on that?
No, we just keep the same thing.
That's
Because
not
that's,
twin trips now?
no, because they don't have a tight end.
I see. And 1 back?
Right. They gotta have a tight end for it to be twin trips for us.
So you bring Sam inside then on that, or do you
We
walk
what?
across the line? You bring Sam inside then, or do you
If
walk
we would
across?
just slide Sam in, we're just gonna slide our linebackers. They move guys, we just bumping guys over.
So he comes an inside back
Right.
instead of an outside.
And this 1 back here, yeah. Sam plays the inside backer for us in stack anyway. So, I mean, he has some inside linebacker, I don't know what you call it, expertise, but at least he got a little experience, yeah.
Against the slot trips, will you move one of your inside back is out?
We don't move him unless they make us.
So where will your strong safety would be in relation to the slots.
You talking about twin trips? You talking about
Or slot trips, yeah.
this trips?
Exactly.
We're in check 3, so our strong safety will basically be on the inside shoulder of that guy, depends on the split. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And our free safety will basically be sitting over that guy. And what we say is, if you raise up and throw in the ball, we're just gonna knock the fire out of it. See how many times you've got this raise up and throw it to him.
How far off do you have him on? Free safety.
Oh, he's 8, 9 yards off the guy. But, you know, I mean, that sounds good, but just to raise up and dump that guy the ball, they get tired of those 2 guys coming and hitting them. So, I mean, we just don't worry about it. Now, if it was a problem, if they were split way out, or it was a problem, and if we had to, if it was a problem, then we'd move somebody. But, I mean, our basic thinking is we're not going to, just because they stick a guy out there, don't mean you have to go stand on top of it. I mean, you know, I see guys, you know, I saw Miami play Houston a couple of years ago in cover 2, okay? And this was when Houston led the nation in passing. They could throw it about good as anybody. Miami had a corner sitting right there, and they had a linebacker sitting right there. That linebacker sitting not all the way out on the guy, but where he could still be counted in the run a little bit. Moves up, threw him the ball, and they just knocked the crap out of him about 5 times. And all of a sudden, that wasn't such a great pass. So, you know, I mean, that's great. Those passes, I think, are great in 707, skeleton, when you're running against air. But when you get out there, if you got some guys that hit somebody, and that receiver catches that ball, and he gets ear hole from both sides about 3 or 4 times, he gets to thinking, now this ain't worth a 4 or 5 yard gain. Coaches may think this is a heck of an idea, but I ain't real crazy about it. So, and I think, you know, if you watch, you know, I think if you're going to be a zone football team, number 1, you have to be patient. You have to understand they are going to catch some passes. And you have to make your players understand they are going to catch some passes. But we will trade a first down for a headache all day long. Now, you got to sell your players on the idea when they catch it, we have got to physically make them pay for every yard they make on us catching a football. And when you do that, guys, you're going to see receivers get alligator arms. I don't care how good they are. I've seen the best ones come across that middle and give you one of those.
Alligator arms.
Alligator, you know, where they won't extend all the way up. They just get this high. Well, couldn't get it. Well, you know. And hey, and if you're going to be a zone football team, then that has to be your frame of mind. Okay, what time will we go? I guess they're taking a break, are they? Well, y'all take a break, and I'll get you a drink of water.
Break in 40 minutes. Break's over.